This is fun, guys.
Yeah, it is.
We got a lot of good information. Notice how it went really. What you don't want is a real slow talking show. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, and I love YouTube, and I hit double. Well,
Speed it up. Yeah.
Coming back at you. It's called the Business to Business Network Show. My name is Rex Perry, and I have been doing the show for over 20 years. It's an hour-long business show talking business, politics, economics, and our guests are Danny.
Danny Jaramillo, Right Away Lending.
Michelle.
Michele Robbins, LPT Realty.
Jason.
Jason Predovich, First Integrity Title.
And Danny, we want to talk about this relocation program. You guys introduce it a little bit.
Yes. So Michelle and I created a book called The Ultimate Relocation Guide for people that are relocating, because Phoenix is actually one of the top 3 destinations for relocation in the country right now. So when we're seeing a lot of people from California, of course, also Washington State is a really big state where people are relocating as well, just because of the cost of living, and just all the higher prices. So that booklet is basically giving a free guide to people looking to relocate to the Phoenix area. All those things that they're looking for, they want someone that specializes in these local markets. That's what we created it for. It's a free education for them to, have all the top topics that they're going to research. We put it all in one place for them just to help them out.
Michelle, how can they get a hold of that? How do they make contact with you, or how do they do that?
Absolutely. They can reach out to myself or Danny, and we can send you a digital copy, or we can send you a hard copy, whatever's most convenient for you. But what we really want to emphasize in this guide is that we are taking out all the guesswork and really just being your boots on the ground, showing you what's possible, showing you what you may want to build in, lifestyle and, ways to overcome some of the issues that you're leaving perhaps California or Washington for, and not aware of, that are here in Arizona as opportunities.
Do you have any stories or people that you worked with in this transition? Maybe you could, without mentioning any names, tell us their story a little bit.
Sure. I have a client right now that we are getting them out of Washington, and they are relocating here. And we found them what is called a next-gen home because they have a special needs son. He's high-functioning autistic. And so I, of course, resonate with that because my daughter is autistic as well.
And my wife works with autistic kids.
I love that. We'll talk more. So we bonded right away. And so we talked about all of the things that were important to them and making that a smooth transition. So they know that while I'm here working for them, I'm keeping them in the loop as to what they need to do, what I'm doing for them, and then also being their representation so that way there's nothing that's getting missed, and they feel very much a part of the transaction, and they're super excited about their move here to Arizona.
And when you say next gen home, describe the floor plan and how that lays out.
Yes. So there's a couple of different styles, but predominantly it is where you have two homes, if you will, under one roof most of the time. Sometimes that will be a studio style. Sometimes it'll be a 1-bedroom. Sometimes it'll be a 2-bedroom with a kitchenette and maybe a little living room area as well. But that'll have access to its own private entry or, that sort of thing. And then there may be also the possibility of having that connected to the primary home. Now, some people are using that for, the cost of living for their adult children, or for that elderly parent that, it's too expensive to put them in an assisted living, or even housing for, some of these disabled veterans even. So it really gives a lot of opportunity. It's also more functional because not everywhere can you have a casita where you have that full separate residence. So now you kind of got the closeness, but you also have the separation for independence.
And a lot of the home builders have actually built these homes, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of them out there, and you want to get a hold of Michelle to help find a place like that. And what people are doing is they do an Airbnb and they subsidize their mortgage with the rental from the Airbnb. It's incredible.
That is absolutely a possibility as well. We've got a lot of those traveling nurses or traveling professionals that are looking for temporary housing, and that is a good fit to either cover their mortgage or cover a good chunk of their mortgage, so that if you are living on a budget, you've got that extra income.
What's interesting, Jason, you mentioned off the air that you guys have multiple locations. Explain what that's about.
Yeah, so we are a nationwide title company. So I am based in Arizona, but I do business in pretty much everywhere. So, and going back to this program of relocation, where we specialize at is the biggest struggle with agents trying to be a relocation specialist. Yes, I'm a relocation specialist. How do I find that? So we have a platform and software that we use that we just run analytics, and I can pull where everybody's moving from across the nation, and then we just build a marketing program with a specific agent to go out there and target to that audience.
This is so important. Now, everybody pay attention, especially you real estate agents out there. You get the data. You can see where people are coming from. You can actually make contact with them because of your data search and what you're pulling in.
Yeah, we have a program that we built it about 2 years ago, and it's a game changer. I mean, analytics and data is everything right now. So, for example, she's a relocation specialist. She's got somebody coming from Washington. She sends me that information. I run it through our system. It'll pull up that specific area in Washington, and with our analytics, it'll tell her who to target in the area. And with that homeowner, we're going to know what they owe, what they paid, how much equity they have, how much they're going to make to profit on that sale to move to Arizona, and then we connect them with that. And we get contact information. We build a marketing program to go after that, and it works hand in hand.
Before everybody freaks out about Big Brother, one of the wonderful things, my background is a title insurance guy. I was in college going to BYU, and we would go down to the county courthouse and pull out these huge abstract books from the 1800s. This is what I did. And we would trace from the patent of the USA all the way forward, and we had to do that on every single piece of property. This shows how old I am. But the point is, but that's public record. And that helps us all stay safe, because I mentioned on the other segment, if you get a lawsuit and you get a judgment against you, you go to try to buy a piece of property, that judgment's going to follow you over. So somebody's going to pay that bill.
Yep.
And so this is what makes our country work. Now, when it comes to financing, you have some different creative programs.
Yes, we do. And just to jump on top of that with the locations, we're also licensed in Washington. We're licensed in different states as well. And I think that's important with the relocation as well, because it just shows them, hey, look, we're also in your hometown. You just have more credibility that way.
And it makes a smooth transition.
A lot more smooth transition. The creative financing has become it's almost on the forefront, I think, of financing right now, because a lot of business owners who do have a lot of expenses when it comes to tax time, they need an outlet. They still deserve to, if they have good credit, and they still need to deserve to buy a home and buy real estate. And I think that's why all the new programs that are out, the bank statement loans, the profit and loss loans, the DSCR investment loans, where you still have the ability to purchase a home and not pay private money investors 12 and 13%, and you still stay within your budget, and you still can not have to come up with 20% down. Bank statement programs right now, we're doing a 10% down payment, and all we look at is deposits in your bank account, and they actually allow you to source up. You could put $100,000 in your bank account without having to source where that money comes from. If you're a cash business, things of that nature. So there are a lot of outlets out there that people, they just sometimes don't even apply for a home because they don't think they can qualify. If they reach out to us, we have different ways to create that solution for you.
Fantastic. Michelle, you mentioned your license in other states too. I want to make sure, where are those?
I'm in Arizona as an Arizona native, as well as I sell real estate in Florida, and I have a team that we are nationwide.
Wow, fantastic. Now, let's switch gears to investment property. And off there, we were talking about this pad split idea, where in Arizona, you've got a lot of these 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 square foot ramblers, single story. It doesn't have to be, but you have the square footage, and a lot of the square footage is taken up by having a huge family room or a huge living room. And so the pad split people came in and said, wait a minute, what if we put up some partition walls and doors and turn those into bedrooms? And I looked at one over at, again, I'm going to repeat myself, Stapley in Southern, and it could be 10 bedrooms, and they charge like a hotel. So it's $200 per week, not per month. So it's about $800 a month, times 10 is $8,000, just for round numbers. And for a $600,000 mortgage monthly, just throw out a monthly payment.
Give or take $5,000 and some change.
And so you're bringing in $8,000. That's a $3,000 spread in there. And so someplace in there, there's a good. Now, when you talk about Airbnb, you do the financing. How do you do an Airbnb financing?
Airbnb, you almost look at it very similar to a long-term rental. Okay, they have their own separate type of comps that you use for Airbnb. They look at all the different Airbnb comps in that area. They'll take that average, and then they'll take whatever your new mortgage payment's going to be, and then they'll compare those two, and that'll determine how much your down payment would be.
And again, you can get a lower down payment if you got that higher revenue income.
Higher revenue income. That's
and
correct.
You've worked again as an appraiser. You know to do the math, and you've got Jason. You've got the statistics to pull in because this Arizona. Our rents are just going up, and it just seems like this could be a real good idea. And we were talking about how we all have older kids. We'd like to have them be able to get a place that they could pay $800 a month. You were going to say something on that?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on Jason as well when he talked about the analytics that they run and all the things that they do. I think that it's really important, and that's really a major component to our business is the data that they provide. It's not just saying, hey, we'll do a mailer for you, we'll print some free stuff out for you, because that's what a lot of people try to use to bait you in and hook you with their business. They actually will show you, hey, look, this is what you should be doing. Here's the game plan. The targeted leads, just like I was telling you, lead generation is at the forefront. Social media and things of that nature is a great way, but having that other outlet on top of it and doing both together, I think is paramount when it comes to the relationship between a loan officer, agent, and title company. And I think that by far he helps his clients more than anybody.
Excellent. Now, what part of the valley, Michele, do you mainly focus on, or are you pretty much all over the valley when you're working with buyers and sellers?
I'm all over the valley and in northern Arizona.
Oh.
I do have partners that I refer out to the Tucson and southern Arizona area, but I have, grown up here, and so I just know the area, and I would always go up north constantly, and so it's, gets warm here in the summer, so a lot of people say, hey, let's get a little vacation home, and maybe they do the Airbnb out, and so there's lots of opportunities, but yes, I do both the Phoenix metropolitan area and also northern Arizona.
And I was born and raised in Prescott, but Prescott Valley has exploded.
Yes.
You guys have seen this, right?
Yes.
And I went up there for the 4th of July, and I was just blown away. And what's funny is, I can't help it, but I always look for real estate, and they had a 7,000, 8,000 square foot lot, vacant lot, for $25,000. And I kicked myself because by the time I got a chance to check into it, it had sold like that.
Oh, for sure.
So can you say, but Prescott Valley, and if you're on North Phoenix, if you're in Anthem, I think you're an hour away. It's not that far. So, and you get out of the heat, and it's just a really, really fun place to go. Now, let's talk one more time about when some buyers think, I can't qualify right now. How do you work with these individuals that want to buy a house, but they just don't know what to do?
Well, first and foremost, they need to contact myself, and just the fact that they're interested, then I can start to peel back the onion and find out why they thought they couldn't purchase in the first place. I mean, obviously, there's sometimes, if the credit's there, not there, then we can also put them in touch with somebody who actually can help repair that stuff, right? But a lot of times it's because they didn't think that they made enough money, or they think that they didn't have enough money down. A lot of times they do have the money down. There's definite down payment assistance programs. There's, the money down. They think they always need 20%. That's a very big misconception in this market. As low as 3.5% down. So just the first step is just picking up the phone and contacting myself. And that way we can start to put together that game plan. Whether it's now or a year from now, it doesn't have to be right now. I'm a long-term relationship type loan officer, and I'm looking for just putting them in the right position.
If they do have credit issues, do you have coaching? Do you have people to help?
Yes. Credit repair consulting is really.
You've got
really
people
big.
for that.
We definitely do.
Excellent.
Yes.
And let's get a contact information again.
Yeah, 602-465-2800. Call or text anytime.
Right Way Lending.
Right Away Lending.
Right Away Lending.
Yes, sir.
And one more time, the phone number.
602-465-2800.
Michele?
Michele Robbins, LPT Realty, 480-580-7700, 480-580-7700.
Does she sound like a professional female announcer? Have you done radio before?
No.
So you got that voice.
Well, once. Once.
She'll
And
be
then
your
I
new
have a
co-host.
podcast.
That's what it is.
And I'm also the newest host for American Dream TV, featured on Travel Channel and HGTV.
Fantastic. And Jason?
Jason Predovich, First Integrity Title, 602-410-3541, 602-410-3541.
Guys, thanks so much for being part of the show. Hey, we got to wrap it up. It's called the Business to Business Network Show. If you missed anything, you need to get contact information, 123bz.com, 123bz.com. Go out, have a great evening. We'll see you next week.